So we are going to talk today about how to add and subtract fractions with unlike denominators. And I showed you with the fractions blocks on Wednesday why we couldn't add or subtract fractions with unlike denominators, because when I put them together and showed them to you, could you tell me the answer? No, because my pieces were in different sizes. So I need to make fractions that have each piece of the same size. So we have got 4 steps that we're going to take. So on your paper, I'm going to move this up a little bit because I'm going to simplify the 4 steps down here, and I'm going to number them in my notes. So everyone's bodies needs to be facing the board. So the first step when we have fractions with unlike denominators is to find the least common multiple. So step 1 is to find the LCM, or least common multiple. Every number in the world has an infinite amount of multiples. So you don't have to necessarily find the lowest common multiple, but that helps your problem because it means you might not have to simplify at the end. So let's look at our problem that we have here on our paper. The example problem that they give us is 1/2 plus 1/3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this T-chart. A T-chart looks like this. If we look right here at this T-chart, this chart, everyone see the board where I'm pointing out the T-chart in red? Okay, my denominators are 2 and 3. So I'm going to label my T-chart with 2 and 3, and then all they did here was they did the fact families for 2 and 3. So they got 2 by doing 2 times 1, they got 4 by doing 2 times 2, and they got 6 by doing 2 times 3. They did the same thing for 3. 3 times 1 equals 3, 3 times 2 equals 6, and 3 times 3 equals 9. And when they listed out all those multiples, they found that they had 6 in common. So now we can move on to step 2. You ready for step 2 now that we found the common multiple? Step number 2 is to actually make equivalent fractions. You are taking these notes with me on your paper. Make equivalent fractions using the common denominator. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change 1/2 into an equivalent fraction with a denominator of 6, and I'm going to change 1/3 into an equivalent fraction with the denominator of 6. So let's look at 1/2 first. To make an equivalent fraction, remember you have to use multiplication or division. How do I use multiplication or division to go from 2 to 6? What do I need to do to the number 2 to get to 6? Yep.
Multiply it by 3.
Multiply it by 3. Whatever you do to your denominator, you also have to do to your numerator. What's 1 times 3? 3. Now let me ask you this. Since I multiplied those numerator and denominators by 3, does that mean I'm going to go over to the 1/3 and multiply that numerator and denominator by 3? No, because it's a different fraction. If I multiplied it by 3, yes, I'd be making an equivalent fraction, but it wouldn't lead to common denominators, and that's the whole point of what I'm doing, right? So now I want to look at 1/3, and I want to think to myself, how do I go from 3 to 6 using multiplication or division? What do you do to 3 to get to 6?
Multiply by 2.
Times 2. So what am I going to multiply the numerator by?
2.
2. What's 1 times 2?
6.
1 times 2?
2.
1 times 2 is 2. So now I want to rewrite the problem with the common denominators. Who can tell me what my new problem's going to be with common denominators? Yep.
36 plus 2, 6.
Fabulous. Please write that down below. 3/6 plus 2/6. Now that I've got that, I have another step. I want to add or subtract the numerators. No, I need you to wait. We're in the middle of a lesson, please. If I'm going to add or subtract the numerators, let me ask you this. Am I adding the original numerators, the 1 and the 1? Or am I adding the numerators of the equivalent fractions, 3 plus 2?
The equivalent fraction.
Very good. I need to add 3 plus 2 of the equivalent fractions. You guys are going to make that mistake. Please be careful. So what is 3 plus 2? 5. The denominator stays the same. Okay, I have another step. It's the last step of any problem that you ever work on with fractions. What is it? Simplify. Let's go through our 6 simplifying questions. Is my numerator 1?
No.
Nope. Is my numerator 1 less than my denominator?
Yes.
So it is as simple as it goes. 5, 6 is the answer. Please solve the 4 practice questions over to the side. Go ahead and check your answers with mine. Thank you.